Hey there, welcome to Concept Hunter. Today we're going to talk about Swords and Souls, a Soul Adventure, which is basically an incredibly polished game that has a ton to offer, and we're not going to talk about most of it. And the reason for that is because you've probably seen very similar things a million times before. It does it amazingly well. There's a lot to do here. The numbers, which are the core of this game, really just how everything is balanced in terms of numbers, they're done exquisitely well. There's been a ton of design work, and there's much credit to be given here. I don't want to talk about everything because there really is a ton to talk about. I want to talk about a very specific thing, and it's going to be training. What we actually have here in this training menu is 5 minigames, and I want to talk about these minigames, or at least a couple of them, because they are also incredibly well done, and each one of them might be a little bit repetitive as you go along, but they're actually really well done. They're expertly crafted, and they feel really good. The controls are actually perfect, and they're quite basic, but because they're so well done, I want to just try and focus on them. And probably my favorite is the strength one. So what's actually going to happen here is that I have my character on the left side, and I have the scarecrow on the right side, and he's shooting me with apples. Now note that he's shooting me with apples. I'm just letting him hit me because this is training. I can't die or anything. Nothing bad could happen. But clearly I'm not gaining anything right now. So what can I actually do? I can attack upwards, to the right, and to the bottom. And also behind me, sometimes a star comes along and I could kick it. So how does these work? Well, it's pretty simple. You just need to hit the correct thing, and you start up a combo that you can see at the top. Eventually, when that bar at the top fills, and it fills faster and faster as your combo gets better, you just simply get more of that specific stat. In this case, it's more strength, so more damage for the actual game that we're not actually going to talk about. But this little thing, and again, there's exactly 4 buttons. It's up, down. I'm using WASD, up, down, right, and to the left. And now I'm actually going to try and play while talking, which is very difficult, but I'm going to try and do that. This is really, really fun and very skillful, and actually done quite well. As you continue with the combo, and as you keep doing well, this gets harder and harder. And when I say harder and harder, it's still kind of random, whatever comes out, but it's way faster, as you can tell. And I'm already missing the thing behind me. This is actually kind of nice. You have a fail state, which means one of these apples, I won't cut them. And you have, there you go, I screwed that up. And you have, you just didn't get the perfect. They call them perfect, which is a little bit confusing when we talk about the missions at the bottom left. We'll get that in a second. They call them perfect, but basically they're just stars. They give you 2 points in terms of the combo at the top. Right now I have 20. Each apple will give me 1, but a star will give me 2. So 25 jumps to 27 when I get a star. And there's a lot in terms of the mission that requires you to get perfects, they call them. But really there's only, the fail state is actually getting hit by an apple. And what's done here is very interesting and actually done quite well. It always starts, when you screw up, it starts at a baseline of speed, which is kind of slow, and it builds up from there and becomes more and more difficult. And it seems to me, I do not know, but it seems to me that there's an end to that. There's an amount which is just incredibly difficult, and at that point, whenever you'll screw up, it'll screw up, and then you'll start all over again. It might be a little bit tedious, and I'm interested in knowing, because it does get boring. I mean, once you do really well and then you screw up, and you feel kind of bad about it, you don't really want to start all the way from the beginning, because then it's really slow. So right now I had to really concentrate and do well, and now it's just kind of really slow again and kind of boring. I'm interested in knowing maybe just toning down the speed. Let's say you have a speed that just keeps on picking up as you succeed. Instead of resetting it to 0 to the baseline, maybe just just taking a good chunk out of it, like 50% out of it, or maybe a flat amount out of it when you make a mistake, instead of just killing it and just going all the way to the beginning, because that kind of encourages you to stop. So you make a really big combo, and then whatever, I want to stop. And please note that you could always stop. I mean, this will never end. I could train forever and just raise my stats forever. It's just not the most effective way to do things, and it does take a long time and eventually gets repetitive. So in a way, it's actually good that this gets repetitive and that you kind of have that feeling that you want to stop. And it's a good thing that it resets because it makes you want to stop doing this and go do other things. You have other mini games and you have the actual game. You have other stuff to do in the game, actually playing it. Remember, this is a mini game within the actual game. Another thing that's done really well here is what I tried to show you and failed now, that my sword slashes, they actually have a length. It's not like one sword slash removes one apple. If there's two apples that are close together, it'll actually hit more than one of them. And the sound effects also work very well. The animations work very well, and it feels really good. If I press to the right and bottom quickly, and even if I hit both of the keys at the same time, it'll actually do both actions. So it does, in a way, it doesn't really queue them up, but it will ensure that all of your inputs go in and do something. So if you hit a lot of inputs, it'll do those inputs. You will not miss an input. And the feeling of it is really, really good. It's something you should definitely check out just to see how well it's done. On top of that, there's also the missions at the bottom right. And if you try and focus on the missions, you could do that. They'll just give you a little bit of better bonuses in terms of every time you fill out a mission, you get more of that stat. So filling up the bar at the top, but also the missions also do that. And the missions kind of repeat in a pattern. It's get an amount of perfects, get an amount of perfects in a combo, get just a standard combo, and I think there's make no mistake for a certain amount of time, and then they just increase in difficulty. They just increase the count of them. And this is all, I'm actually succeeding. So this is all pretty cool. All of these things you could focus on different things. You could just try and do the best possible thing that you can, which is kind of what I'm doing right now, and eventually I screwed up. You could try and do that, or you could try and I want to just do the mission. You know, I just want to do the mission, so if I just need perfects, I just need perfects. I don't really care about screwing up. Perfects are more important than continuing my combo, for example. In this small minigame, and it's just a small minigame, we've already had so much to talk about. And then I get everything I need to get, and I level up, and blah, 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 the rest of the game. Put that aside. But each one of these minigames is actually really cool, and because we've been talking for such a long time, I just want to show you one more of them. These two are my favorites because they're the most active ones. This is the most basic of things. You have to put your shield up to the apples. They come from all the screen. You're in the middle of it, and you want to get stars into your character. So you want the stars. If you miss the stars, you don't lose. It's not a lose condition in the sense that the speed resets. It's just that you didn't get the star. So it's not that bad to actually bounce them off. But it feels really good. It is incredibly accurate, and it really is all about the feel of these games, of these mini games, and how good they actually feel. And this is just really fun for me, specifically as it gets much faster. This is probably my favorite. It's just really, really enjoyable, especially when it gets incredibly fast. And eventually, I just completely I just try and block everything, including the stars, because I want to not lose, and it becomes very difficult. So at this point, you just kind of get into the flow of it, and then you manage to get to ridiculous scores, such as a combo of 100 or 200 or 300, which is what I managed to get to. And it feels really good. And you kind of get into the zone, and then once you're done, you get a ton of rewards that affect the actual game. So the advent of mini games in this one, in the entire actual game, is really, really nice. And I really liked how they did the training here. I think I'm in the maximum speed that you could get here, because this is not getting more difficult, and I could just kind of continue on for quite a long amount of time until I eventually screw up. And I can even do this while talking, which is kind of nice, because it isn't immensely difficult or anything like that. I do wonder if I'm at the maximum difficulty in that sense, because then I could really just continue doing this forever. I say before I'm just going to screw up probably in a second. But yeah, this is called Swords and Souls. It is by Soul Game. They're just called Soul Game. And there you go. I finally screwed up, so I can stop this video. A wonderful game. The minigames are really cool. There's a ton around it, which is, if you like that style of game, that's up to you. But the minigames are just, the feel of them are wonderful, and I suggest even just checking them out. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.